Hey y'all, hey, it is Onye of Pieces of Onye, and I am here today to do a video on how to create a super simple YouTube backdrop in one of two ways. And this is perfect for anybody who either one, ain't got the time for that, or two, ain't got the money for that. These are like super simple tricks that you can use, not even tricks, steps that you can take to create a doable YouTube backdrop for little to no money. So, here we go. Now before we dive into this video, can we first get into this eyeshadow though from the Fenty Beauty eyeshadow palette? I friggin' love it. It is everything and amazing. Also, I'm gonna be using my hands a lot because I got these press-on nails from Clutch Nails Official and they make me feel like I can do some things. All right, so on to the good stuff. Before you look into buying a backdrop, creating a backdrop, whatever, the first question you want to ask yourself is, what is my brand? And what makes sense for my brand? I'll use myself as an example. I really do love like those sparkly, glittery backgrounds. They're cute, they're adorable. However, they're so not me. So although I may like it, although I may see a lot of people have that type of backdrop, it's just not me. It's not who I am. So I think that's the first question that you should ask yourself. What makes sense for my brand? Because you don't want to be out here with some, elaborate background that just doesn't even fit with, your brand, your Instagram aesthetic and things like that. So don't set yourself up for failure. Figure that out before you take the next step. So once you figure out what makes sense for your brand, then you kind of want to dive into the meaty stuff. What is your backdrop actually going to look like? Now I think there are two different routes you can take in terms of a YouTube backdrop. You can do more of a lifestyle situation, which is kind of what I have going on. And mine is like super simple because I just, like I said, ain't got the time for that. So this is like more of a lifestyle backdrop where you have like your actual room elements or like studio elements. Like there's actually something going on back there that makes it feel kind of realistic. This to me is probably like the simplest backdrop you can have because you really don't have to do anything but sit down in a chair, Of course you might want to stage it a bit. Like for me, I'm going to take this down eventually, this Onye thing right here, because I just don't like it. And I actually bought some posters from Desenio. I don't know how you say it, but I'll put the link down below and I'm gonna hang those up once I get a frame. So I mean, the most energy that it requires is just like staging it, and you can literally just pull things from your room. Like plants are always good, nice posters, your computer as a backdrop. You can take it wherever you want to take it and you really don't have to spend a lot of money. The second type is when you actually do use a backdrop. It's kind of like a paper or like a fabric that you put behind you and it serves as your background. It doesn't require a lot of thought. You prop it up behind you and you're good to go. But of course it's going to cost some money unless you want to use like a bed sheet. But the thing about bed sheets is that it might actually look like a bed sheet hanging behind you. We can't have that. The good thing about fabric and backdrops is that you can get them for not that much money, especially if you go to like a fabric store, go to an art store, even Sammy's Camera, they have backdrops. You can find them literally everywhere. So that is a second option. I tend to go for more lifestyle backdrops, but if you do want to go with like a fabric or a paper, here's what it looks like. But this one, I first ask myself, what makes sense for my brand? Now, if you go to my Instagram page, you'll see that it's pretty much all white. So I asked myself that first question. What's your brand, Onye? What is it? It's white. So this backdrop, I love it because one, it's white, but it has a bit of texture to it, so it doesn't look like I'm just like sitting in a white, empty space lost somewhere, It kind of grounds me a bit. This works for me, and you can kind of get a feel for how backdrops work. You want to get something that's long enough where it fills the entire camera so you don't have any extra random space on the sides making it look a little bootleg. I think this may be like, I don't know the dimension of this. I got this one on Amazon. You can find, like I said, at Sammy's Camera store. Use fabric as long as you get something that's kind of sturdy, or you stretch it enough so there aren't any like dents and indentations in it. I like the fabric route. It's just, I think requires a bit more in terms of like setup, because y'all should have seen how I was struggling to put this thing up right now. Okay, so once you have your backdrop figured out, you decide whether you want to do lifestyle, you want to get some fabric going on back there, The next step I would say is lighting. So similar to backdrops, there are two routes you can take with lighting. You can go with natural lighting, which will always be your friend. The alternative is artificial lighting. For my setup right now and how I typically do it, I have a combination of natural light and studio light. So I have two studio lights set up right here, have a window open right here and another smaller window open right there. So I have light coming in from all around me, 360 over here, okay? Almost pop a nail off. I'm gonna show you what this looks like when I cut the lights off so you can see the difference. So this is just natural lighting. As you can see, it's not even. I look like, you know, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, dark over here. There's not as much light coming from this window, and then this one is kind of like overexposed because there's too much light coming in. So I feel like the studio lights just kind of help to balance things out a bit. Let me see if I can show you guys what this looks like with just the studio lights and not the window open. Okay, so this is what it looks like with just studio lights, which I think is actually fine. It looks good. I think I actually like this better, but you know, I like to get things really, really illuminated, so I use them both. But I think for those who don't get a lot of natural light, studio lights are a great option to have. And I'm gonna provide a link down below for my particular brand that I use, that I've used for years, and I think they work pretty good. If I had the funds, I would definitely get more powerful lights, but for $100 or so bucks, these get the job done. All right, so in this last bit, I'm gonna show you guys my actual setup. I'm gonna switch to my phone, so it might get a little bit different in terms of quality and lighting, but I just wanna show you guys what I'm working with. Okay, so here is my setup. Excuse the mess. This is just how I be living, okay? So this is where I was sitting for this video. It's an old office chair that I borrowed from my old job and never gave back, you know. And then here are the two soft boxes that I use. I sit them off in front of me, one slightly to the left and one slightly to the right. And then over here, we have this open window. As you can see, there's a building right there that kind of blocks the sun from really getting in. Drives me crazy. I kind of want to demolish it, but I don't think I can do that. And then there's another smaller window right here. And here's my desk situation. Like I said, I'm gonna take those down and put some wall art up there. Look at your girl's nails though. That is pretty much it. And I actually have to move my bed all the way over to the left so I can push my camera back so that I can get that nice blurred background. And that's it, guys. So another important factor in terms of how your background is going to look is your lens. You wouldn't think so, but it does make a difference. And I actually created a video walking you through all of my favorite lenses, and I gave you a look at how they'll make your background look. So definitely check that out down below. Right now I am shooting with a 35mm Canon lens with a 2.0 f-stop. The great thing about this lens is that it gives me like a nice kind of blurred background. Not too much, you can still kind of make out what's back there, but it blurs it enough to let me stand out and let me be the star that I am. If you want an even more blurred background, I think the 50mm, which is the lens that I recommend to all bloggers, influencers, photographers, whatever you may be. 50mm with at least a 1.8 f-stop, 1.4 f-stop will get you an even more blurred background. But these are the type of lenses that you kind of want to invest in if you're looking for, you know, that blurred background that you see in a lot of your favorite influencers' videos. And that is it. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please be sure to thumbs up and comment down below. And if you want to see anything else in terms of photography, videography, YouTube, social media, I am your girl. Be sure to leave those comments down below. I look forward to hearing from you guys. All right, see you soon. Bye.